Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in today. I'm Billy Mitchell, editor-in-chief of FedScoop, and I'm joined by Nasheb Ismaily, senior solutions engineer for Cloudera. Nasheb, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'm excited to talk to you. We're in 2021 now, and I want to sort of start to get some sense of what the priorities are going to be for this forthcoming year in the government space, particularly around data management. So I'd love it if we could start there today.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So one of the biggest priorities for data-driven leaders this year will most likely involve investing in a scalable hybrid and multi-cloud data platform that can effectively do everything from the edge to the AI, right? Including collecting, enriching, storing, serving, and analyzing data across multiple different business functions. And this will be done through a single unified platform. And so with this platform, what it's going to do is it's going to provide government organizations with greater control of their own data, thereby mitigating risk. It's also going to allow these organizations to gain the insights they need to complete all of their missions, right? Irrespective of which cloud their data sits in. And in fact, another priority I can think of is augmented data management, right? So developers within the government sphere typically spend a majority of their time doing tasks that can be automated with machine learning and AI. Think about software configuration management, data cleansing, and data quality. All of these tasks can be automated, and at the end of the day, it's going to increase productivity.
That's fantastic and a great start to our conversation today. COVID-19 is a huge continuing topic. We're still not anywhere close to being done with this beast, but I'm sure it's in a sense kind of clarified the importance of strong data management and some of the things you just mentioned. So I'd love to hear, being in this environment where COVID-19 has changed a lot, how has it changed the need for strong data management and data sharing practices?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question, right? So with COVID-19, what we've seen is a greater emphasis being placed on operational readiness in terms of being prepared for the current crisis of COVID and future crises. And so for organizations, what this really means is being able to handle the ingestion of new data sources that are arriving in all different types of formats and standards and protocols. And with this influx, this massive influx of these new data sources, there's going to be an increased need for unified security and unified governance. With new types of personal data, banking data, even patient data that's coming in, organizations need to ensure they remain, risk adverse, I would say, by protecting sensitive information. Also, agility and scalability have been emphasized. They are being emphasized today. Organizations need to be able to swiftly scale up their infrastructure to handle both their existing computational needs and any new needs that are going to come about. And I'd say finally, we've seen a great emphasis being placed on unifying disparate silos of data into a central repository, bringing all of that information together. This enables greater data collaboration, which increases both the speed and the quality of the insights that are available to an organization.
That's great. So as agencies, look to things like artificial intelligence, which is a big topic right now in the federal government, what should they consider when it comes to their data?
Yep. So AI is definitely huge in the government sphere nowadays, right? So the scalability, I would say the scalability of cloud resources and the massive data requirements of traditional AI means that organizations are going to have much more data that needs to be stored, processed, and analyzed today than ever before in the past, right? And so with more data that's coming in, we need to ensure that there's strict operational compliance in terms of securing all the different data assets. In addition to this, agencies also need to consider the end-to-end governance and lineage for all of their data. For example, in order for organizations to ensure their ML models and all of their different AI bots are performing as expected, they need to fully understand the life cycle of the data, where it came from, who touched it, how it was changed over time.
So Sheb, as we close out today, we talked about data sharing a little bit, and as that increases, how should agencies and other organizations think of the security risks that are present, as data is leaving their fortress, if you'd call it that?
Absolutely, great question. As agencies are beginning to share more data, they really, really need to understand the risks associated with data access and data sharing. And this includes the risks to both individuals and organizations, individuals and agencies, right? So on a very fundamental level, privacy interests need to be protected at all times. I think that's something we can all agree on. Any type of data leakage that may happen would pretty much undermine any type of data-driven innovation that's happening within an agency, right? Organizations will lose the incentive to contribute and share their data, right? So put another way, put very simply, a confidentiality breach would be disastrous, right? It would lead to users and agencies being more reluctant in sharing their data. Agencies, therefore, they really need to place a very strong emphasis on attribute-based access control policies, edge to AI governance and lineage, as well as thorough resource data and workload and application-based audits.
Absolutely. Well, Nasheb, that's all we have time for, but I want to thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for your time.